what the things they go through, the emotional stress and social the issues, and especially the trauma in the event of the soldiers coming from the battlefield. So there's lots of recent literature on their transition, particularly from the US and in the more developed countries. Most of the policy and academic research coming from the US Defense Force and also the Small Business Administration and also the US the Labor Office. And there are also literature from the United Kingdom, especially in recent time the universities are very interested in looking at the military, the personnel, their transition, especially there's a problem of the soldiers, retiring, the early retirements, and also the trauma that they go through after returning from the battlefield. So we can see a huge trend in this field. There are very interesting literature out there talking about their engagement in professional careers and becoming entrepreneurs. There are role models, the case studies from the US and UK. There are successful military entrepreneurs running multinational the corporations. So in terms of literature, the theoretical aspect, the McDermott defined the transition as individuals moving from a family environment to an unfamiliar the settings. So that transition, even for us, sometimes we find it very difficult from going into a new house or going into a new place. So imagine a soldier retiring from the army after 22 years and straight away going into the civilian life. Sometimes it can be very difficult for them. In terms of the entrepreneurship, I think we find very interesting evidence from the literature, especially in the US, where the literature review is mostly cited from. There are 3 million businesses run by the veterans. That is the 30% of all the businesses in the United States. 5.7 million jobs have been provided by veteran-owned businesses, equivalent to $210 billion in their payroll as salaries. So their contribution enormous, huge. But interestingly, they constitute only 8% of the US population. So imagine 8% of the US population dominating the 30% of the business world. The contribution is really, really great. Similar trends can be found in UK, where now the UK Army and the Defense Forces providing the support and guidance for retiring military the personnel to become entrepreneurs. They go through vocational training, and then at the end of their training they get a bank loan or venture capital or investment to start businesses. In most countries, military establishments, even within the army, there are units to support and guide entrepreneurs even before military personnel, even before they retire. This planning takes place at least 12 months before they retire. So that transition is not happening in the last month or last week. So they are being prepared at least 12 months before they retire. Even to some extent, they get placement in the local university colleges and the universities, vocational training institutes, open university to study part-time. So that helps them. Their integration is easy and a smooth one. In Sri Lankan context, we find that in recent times there are some literature emerging, especially the military, the transition, especially looking at the trauma point of view, what kind of effects after the war. But there's very little evidence on the destinations of retired military personnel. We don't know what they're doing, and we have no statistics, their destination, what they're doing, what kind of work they do, and what kind of support the services they require. So we don't have much knowledge on their transition. We also don't know about their entrepreneurship. I'm not quite sure whether the regiments do collect this information in-house, but we found that there's no research evidence on this particular topic. So we find there's a gap. However, some positive signs are emerging. The Sri Lanka Army has started the vocational training courses, and regiments are supporting them with skills development and some guidance, career guidance and things like that, and engagement with external agencies like vocational training institutes, local colleges. So there's the positive side. I think there's a lot more to do in this particular context. In terms of entrepreneurship, and also especially careers, what we find is, wherever you go now, the most retired soldiers, either they run a three-wheeler, or they become a driver, cab driver, or maybe run a small boutique or a shop, and that is also very short term. So we find their engagement is, the jobs that don't require that much of skills. So they become very unproductive. And I can quote that in recent times I've been going around and conducting some entrepreneurship awareness programs in some regiments, the Slimy Singer Regiment and also Mechanized Infantry Regiment. And when I ask some of the retiring soldiers, especially Slimy, what do they want to do? And I found only out of 120, only 3 the people said that they are going to start a business, and that also not related to their professions.
Please conclude, sir.
Yeah. So we find this kind of trend. So that means they need a lot of awareness. The conceptual framework this research is going to be working around. First, the feeling of joblessness, how we address their insecurity, and then moving ahead, and what kind of stress that they go through in this transition, and how do they empower, how we can empower them to become successful economic actors or entrepreneurs, or for that matter, to running a small business or become employed. So the capabilities, develop the capabilities is number one, and then also motivation. You have to motivate them to look at different options in the economy and employability, how we can improve their employability skills, then entrepreneurship, and that all leads to the economic development. So this research carried out so far shows that there's a very limited understanding of the transition, so we need to do more research, and this the PhD research will will try to bridge this gap, trying to highlight some of the issues around this particular theme. And I think we also need to look at the more broader context, how we can create a support the network or the support environment for this smooth the transition, and we can learn a lot of lessons from the countries like USA and UK and other countries with lots of literature, lots of good practices. So there are a lot to learn from other countries. So with that, I conclude my the paper or the presentation, and thank you very much.
Thank you.